Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Satisfactory Early Access Update 3. I thought I would show you what's going on with the base, and we are now ready. If we look at our inventory, we have 50 modular frames, and I'll show you where we're making those. We actually have like 500 of them, and we are ready to get basic steel production. I'm also ready at this point to dismantle the hub and bring it back here to our base. Now, we do not have copper being made at the base, and we still haven't relocated some of our materials. But I just wanted to show you the work I've done on the base. As you can see, I've got a sky bridge over here. We can actually go from the second floor of our base, and there's our base being built. The second floor of our base all the way across to here, and then if we want, we can walk up there, but I haven't been up there yet, so I thought you guys might want to look at that as well. I had a little bit of a problem. I added a whole bunch of crystal constructors without dismantling the old ones, and I'll show you that in a minute. It overloaded the system, and then I couldn't get it restarted because the coal needs water and the water wasn't running, so I actually had to put a biomass, temporarily put a biomass generator right there, turn everything off but this water thing, get the water pump going, and then start these four coal. Then I could get the second water pump going, start these coal. I had to disconnect the entire rest of the network, which is going up there on that power line, until I got everything going again. And I just came down here and redid all the coal. As you can see, it's not quite done because I want to actually move this up to the second level. And we're going to need to add more coal generators because we're running pretty close to our capacity some of the time. I think we've come down a little bit, but at one point we were running at around 550 out of 600. And so we need to put another set of generators here. We're going to need to bring more coal in. And so we have two more coal mines, two more coal nodes over kind of that way. We can bring them in and have two levels. But the other thing we can do once we get steel production is upgrade to the Mark III belts. And then we can bring, I think, all the coal in on a single belt. So I don't know if we want to necessarily get two levels going and then just change it right back. We'll see. But at least now we can kind of walk under all these things. I also had to decide what the front of the base was, and there really isn't a good front of the base because it's so high. But I decided to make the front of the base over here, and you can see I'm still working on it. We have some little annoying pig beasts over here. Hopefully this isn't the big one. I don't think it is. Where'd he go? These guys are really driving me crazy, and I absolutely hope that they will eventually disable this in the game, because it really sucks to be having them running around your base. Is annoying. Once you put like enough foundations down, it should just disable the spawning. But anyway, so here we are at the entrance to the base. I decided to make it 3 wide. I wish you could make like a really big opening that looks good, but you kind of can't. Maybe I could do something with pillars. I'm gonna have to play around with it. I haven't changed the color of the base yet. As you can see, I've got like a little sitting area there. It's actually behind a stairway. We've got power lines going through the walls. I haven't cleaned any of that up. But I'll show you around and we can see what we're doing. As you can see, I'm starting to make some glass. Doesn't seem to be hurting the performance yet, so I've kept working with it. My intention is to have the glass go all the way down, and then there where you see those that metal frame, that's the center of the base. And I'm going to have a 5x5 area that goes all the way up to the top and is open to the sky and maybe has a glass ceiling. And it's going to be this big, giant, cool atrium. And I was thinking of having maybe walkways going all the way around it so you could wind your way up. I think it'll look cool. We'll see. Over here, we have our concrete constructors. And you can see I've got a whole bunch of concrete here. And I was just playing with the coal, so I've got some coal. We've got our concrete constructors over here, and they are continuing to work. I've been building a whole bunch of stuff here because the floor above us is the smelting floor, so these Caterium smelters need to go up 1 level. And I'm going to show you that level. There's one of our sky bridges, and here's another sky bridge over here that also comes from that level and goes out over to the rocks over there. And I'm starting to slowly build in walls and just playing around with designs. None of this is finalized yet because I'm still trying to decide what I want to do with the design. If we come over here behind eventually these constructors aren't going to be here, right? Because the constructor floor is the 3rd floor. The 2nd floor is smelting, 3rd floor is constructor. So these constructors are going to move, and this is going to eventually all just be concrete storage going all the way back to here. But over here, we're underneath a stairway or a rampway that goes up. And I thought, okay, well, there's this empty space here. What am I going to do with it? I thought, well, this would be a nice little balcony to just kind of sit and look out and see our pollution and look at the sky. And so this is kind of like a little sunroom. I thought it was kind of nice. You could sit inside or outside. I wish you could put like, I wish it would have furniture like chairs and stuff that you could sit in. That would be rather cool. But the only furniture is inside the hub and it's all affixed. So you have this platform here. I haven't finished closing it off, so I'll go ahead and do that. This set of ramps that goes up. And this is going to be kind of the more consistent ramp design. Let's see here. Do we want to do, I think we want to do that. And that. And I think we want to do, I just feel like this gives it a nicer, cleaner look. Like it's an actual rampway that was constructed here and not just some simple access port. So now we're up on the smelting floor. This is where the Caterium smelters will be over here. And you can see we have two sky bridges. And I've tried a couple different designs here. So I've tried a couple different designs. This one actually has the clear foundations over the top. Now, I put the foundations on the top because I feel like it looks good having the two borders, but also because if you put it underneath, it's really low. So in other words, if you put it here, I feel like that's too low. It feels too cramped. So anyway, we can see through the top, and we have this nice bridge that walks us over to there. And I'll come back and we can explore that a little bit. And then we also have another sky bridge that goes that way. I've tried some different things on the design, and I'm not sure which one I like the best yet. This one, as you can see, we have one metal wall for every 4 glass walls, which is kind of the way I was planning to do the other sky bridges. For this one, it's all glass, and that goes over. There's really nothing over there, but I figured we can do something with that eventually. There's a sky bridge that goes back to the base. That's on the bottom floor. But I wanted to bring you guys over here. Got a little bit of work to do, and I thought you might like to see that. And so I'll take you to the top, and I'll show you what we've got, and then we'll come down, and we've got to work on our awesome sink. And then I'll take you back to the base, and we'll get steel production researched. We don't really have anywhere to put the foundries yet, but I'll figure that out eventually. As you can see, so this here is, over here is where the atrium is going to be. This is basically the middle of the base. It's not the middle this way because this way is not rectangular, but it is the middle going that way. And so, and it's the middle going side to side at that point in the base, right? That's the exact, right there, that middle door is the exact center of that dimension. And then right there is the exact center of this dimension going this way. So that's the center of the base. So we're going to have an atrium here that's going to go all the way up. We'll see, I think, right? The issue is going to be getting things across the base. I think we can go around it, and it won't be a problem. Over here, we have our awesome sink. And the awesome sink, I can show you here. The awesome sink was taking crystal from these constructors and some storage containers. But I decided to move the crystal up to the constructor floor. And that's over here. So I have a stairway. Under this stairway, I put a little crafting bench and some storage in case I want to do some crafting. I'm going to kind of locate crafting bench and workshops all over the base so that if I want to use them, I can. We go up this ramp here to the next floor. And this is where this is the constructing floor. And so this is where all the rods and everything are being made. And down below us, which I don't want to fall off, is the awesome sink. And then what I have over here is, this is the crystal, and they're actually, it's already full. So they're taking the crystal from both mines that we have over here. Each mine can put out 120. Each one of these can do 38, 37.5. So just under 40, so 40 times 3 is 120. So assuming we don't do any overloading, I haven't decided what I want to overload with the power cells yet. Assuming, and we don't have the energy for that right now, but assuming you don't want to do any overloading, each one of the mines can do 3. The Mark 1 mines can do 3 constructors. Each one of the Mark 2 mines will be able to do 6. So we're obviously going to need to somehow expand this. Everything's going to have to be expanded eventually. But for now, we're going to do this way, and we can put more crystal on the other side if we want. What I thought would be cool is if we actually had a little way to see into our crystal crafting. So I made a walkway all around it, and you can see I started using the wall wires, but I don't have them exactly where I want them yet. It's just to get things started. So the crystal is going to have to go down and go to the awesome sink for now. It's going to be right over here. So here is the access out, right? So what we have to do is hook this up, and this needs to be 120. So it needs to be this conveyor belt. And it needs to come to the middle here and go back to... And that should be straight, I think. Yep. And that is going down. Down, 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 down to where the awesome sink is going to be. In fact, where the awesome sink already is. Right, so it's below us. So let's head downstairs. And out this way. Oh, and actually we need to go down one more level. Because the awesome sink is 2 levels below us. Isn't it? Yes. So here's the crystal going. But it's not got anywhere to go yet. And it's about to. So here's our awesome sink. We're going to move this eventually, but I didn't want to move it right now because we don't need to. So all we got to do is take the crystal. And out we go. And now this is all going to be able to be dismantled. I hope I ruined my inventory. Let's take the crystal out of here. So we're going to just dismantle all this because we don't need this anymore. And we can use these materials for something else. So all this ugly spaghetti that I had is gone. And now we have a nice setup for the base. And then I got to figure out where I want to put the hub. And I think what I'm going to do with the hub is just put it up at the top where the assemblers are right now. It's not going to be there permanently. Eventually, I might want to put it near the space elevator. In fact, we could put it up there. Just have to decide what I want to do with it. We don't need any of this anymore. So we're good to go. And now this thing should start collecting tickets for us again. We have 4 coupons, so let's go ahead and grab those. I wish it would just stick the coupons straight into your inventory. I don't know why you have to go drag them. So we have 8 coupons now. And let's see what we want to get. Do we want to get metal walls? We've got all the attachments. Oh, we don't have the Mark II power. We can get that. Oh, pipes. Pipe foundations. Let's get that. And that will allow us to do some different designs. So we can get curved stuff. If we want to use that for design, which is really awesome. Right? And of course the pipes can wrap around that as well, but it also can make really cool pillars. So maybe I'll put something like that at the entrance. We'll see. Alright, so let's go upstairs, and I will show you the assembly floor where the assemblers are, because we hadn't gotten that far yet. I think I was just getting started in the last episode. So there are lots of ways up and down now, because I started getting really annoyed that I would be up at the top and I'd have to run all the way across the base, and then you still have to kind of do that because I haven't really worked out exactly where everything is going to be yet. One of the things I'm toying with is, let's see, yeah, that's awkward, isn't it? So, let's see, is there room to put, it's awkward to have to, I'm trying to minimize the jumping over of conveyor belts in the final design of the base. So the problem with this is that's going to block our exit. So that's no good. So I have to think of something else. I know what we can do. Here we go. So we'll keep this. And then we'll put the corner that way. And then we'll just put an intersection here. just make this a double ramp. Right? And this way, at least, I can walk over the top if I want. Okay. So one of the things I'm toying with is how I want to get from this side to this side, maybe doing double ramps like this. Another possibility is to simply, let's assign this back to 0 because I'm not going to be using the conveyor belts for a while. To simply do this, right? So I'm not sure exactly how I want to do it yet. In any case, we come over this way, and you can see I've been just slowly kind of adding stuff. It's not even, because sometimes I kind of get bored doing it evenly and just start making like weird designs just, I don't know, for the heck of it. Like that. It's all got to be filled in eventually, right? So it really doesn't matter what order I do it in unless I'm trying to put something there. And right now I'm not trying to put anything anywhere. So now these guys are going along. They're cranking along, doing all their making rods and metal plates. And then we come up to the assembly floor. And this is the most unfinished part. And I don't know if I'm going to keep this wall here. I just put this temporarily. This is a pretty narrow space. It's probably going to be usable to maybe just make the reinforced plates if we go all the way down with the reinforced plates. But for right now, it just got one of each. So this thing's making rods, and it's making them pretty much at max speed for a minute. I've got 2 constructors making the plates, and it's pretty much making them at max speed because we've got 120 screws coming in. We're using 60 on each one, split 60 and 60. And then we've got 60 plates coming in, splitting them 30 and 30, and it uses 30 per minute. So these are basically moving at max speed. So they're putting out 10 a minute, but then I'm bringing them out here. And they're going into 2 storage containers. You can see we've already filled the back one up, so this one's starting to fill up. There's a splitter here, and then there was really just no good place right now to do this, so I squeezed in the modular frame maker right here, and this thing is going it's going as fast as it possibly can. And look at all these modular frames, guys. Yeah, we have 400 of them, almost. So it's making them at like 2 a minute. So you can see how many minutes I've had this thing running while I've been building stuff. So this is all temporary, obviously. But we're slowly starting to fill out the base, which I like to see. And while I'm up here, I'll fill out a little bit more. So what we have to do is figure out where we want to put our hub, and we could just put it here. And that might be the easiest instead of having to run all the way up to the space elevator. And eventually we'll have hypertubes, and we'll have the jump stuff, the jump pads, and we'll be able to much more quickly get up and down. But I don't want to locate those things in place yet until I'm kind of sure where I want everything to be. So since we're making more of our high-end stuff right here, right now, I thought it might make sense to just put the hub right here. Right? And there's plenty of room. We can just locate the hub right here. And then we can kind of dismantle, continue dismantling our old base. I'm still toying with what to do about the sky bridge. I think there are multiple issues with it. The main one being if I run everything along the walls, there's going to be no way to get in and out. So I think what I may end up having to do is run things along the middle using the conveyor poles, these things, stackables. I think, let's see, if we do that, because then we can run under it, right? If it's too high, how many stackable poles can we get on 2 walls high? Just 3. So we can only get 6 lines coming through. And realistically, if we're going to do that, heck, we could potentially do that, right? And get them on both sides and have 6 coming through instead of 3, right? Instead of that, so we could stack them that way. And then this wall could be a door. We could just run under it, and I think that might be the way to go. I'm going to leave that there. Just sort of for design considerations. Let's see, can we move it even higher? Can we do 4? Holy cow, yes, we could do 4. So as long as it's not something like crystal that would clip, we could do 4 on either side and run 8 along here. That might be cool. Now the ceiling then would have to be up top, right? No, not there. Would have to be up there, right? And it might, that might clip the top thing. That's probably going to clip. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. Not sure. So I'm going to have to think about it. Minimally, we could do 3 on each side, though, and get 6 done, right? And that wouldn't clip, and we would have room. And even the tall stuff like crystal might be able to go on the top belt, and then we just do the smaller ores on the bottom belts. I think that actually might work. So that means I got to, of course, redesign everything, but that's okay. So I'm going to go back to the base. We'll get our steel production researched, and then I will pick up the hub and bring it back here and show you guys how to reinstall the hub. It's not hard. Okay, guys, we are back at our base, and all we need to do is add modular frames to the hub. And we now can get steel. Boom. There we go. I want you to notice it's now 8 minutes until this thing comes back.
Foundry grants access to new, simple steel parts. An additional project part can now be constructed. Progress to the next phase is now possible.
So we now have the ability to make versatile frameworks, which take modular frames and steel. We can make steel beams, steel ingots. Now steel takes coal and iron. So back at the base we have 4 coal nodes that are going to supply the generators, but there's also a 5th coal node over there that I haven't come through in this playthrough, but I know where it is. It's right near there. That thing, it might be pure, I'm not sure, but even if it's normal, we're going to use that to start our steel production, and then we're going to have to find other coal nodes. There are a bunch others, and those other nodes are going to be used for the steel production, because the 4 nodes back at the base are going to be for powering our first 12 generators. I'm not going to dismantle the hub just yet. Let's take everything out of here. The reason being, I don't know what's going to happen if we dismantle the hub while the ship is still flying. So while that's going on, I'm going to show you what I've got happening here. I'm actually taking metal plates and the iron rod, screws out of the old storage, so I don't have to traipse all that stuff back to the base. And these are the old mines, so I'm going to just get rid of all this stuff. The old mines are not doing anything right now. These guys are still working. The mines over here are still working, but I think I'm going to stop that. And I'm going to start just pulling the metal plates and the metal rods from storage over to here. We're doing that here. We're also merging this. So let's take this out. We're not going to do that anymore. And so the idea is to just let these metal plates supply this thing. Because you just want to kind of get rid of, and these screws. Let's let the storage containers go ahead and empty out, so that I don't have to move all of that stuff. And then this whole section is going to have to be dismantled because it's not square to the base, the new base that's over in the other spot. So, little by little, guys, we're going to dismantle this, and all that's going to be coming from here is going to be the raw ore. Alright, so I'll play around with this, and I will bring you guys back when the ship has returned and we are ready to dismantle the hub. Okay guys, the hub's on its way back. There's about a minute and a half left, but I figured I'd show you how I have redone some of this. So now what's happening is we've got the rods coming out of the rod container, and they're going over here to go into this rotor builder. I've still got this one smelter from the one mine making rods into screws because I don't want to screw around with two different screw lines coming from this storage belt, so the storage containers will just supply screws to the reinforced plates. We have tons of rotors being made. We've got tons of reinforced plates being made over here. I don't want to stop that production until we're ready to, so I'm going to just let this completely empty out. I don't know how long we have before this is empty. Let's take a look. So this is nearly empty. How about up here? That's empty. Alright, so we can take this down. And we can take this down. Alright, so it's just this storage container that's left. Once that's done, I don't know if the screws are going to still have anything left. Yeah, the screws may still be left, so we might have to send that over to make rotors, because there's still a lot of screws left, and then there's tons of rods left. But we'll just let this stuff empty out. And here comes our pod. So it is back, and we're now done with Tier 3, so advanced steel production, hypertubes, oh man, yes. I think we want to get logistics Mark 3 and then hypertubes. The hypertubes are going to be awesome because they can shoot us all over the place, and then we can like even make a hyper tube that goes along the middle of the tunnel and it just shoots us back and forth. It should be really cool. Or maybe I could put it along the top of the tunnel. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. But what we want to do is take the hub, and let me save the game here in case something screws up. We're going to take the hub back to our base. So we dismantle it, and it just becomes this little hub cube, and that's it. We've dismantled the hub. And now we're going to get into our vehicle. And this thing, I was on the bridge and I fell off of it, so it's been on the ground level since, oh, I don't know, like a couple days ago, whenever I shot the last episode. Right after that, I was heading back, and I screwed up and fell off. Also, if you notice, the frame on the far pillar there is actually missing a couple of pieces, one piece at least. If you can see right there, there's a missing piece. I'm going to see if I can fix that. I'm not sure if I can fix it from up here. I might have to go down, and I don't necessarily want to make you guys watch that, but if I can fix it real quick, I will. I still haven't decided what to do about the inclines for the conveyor belts. We'll see. If they end up above my head, I might not care as much. If I can't see them, I might not care as much. So let's run up here a little ways. And see, it was right around here and I fell right off. And you can see how by oversteering. I really suck at this. Just, it'd be so much easier for me if we could steer with the mouse. Alright. So let's just do this real quick and see if I can fix this. And yeah, we got two spots that I didn't manage to. These frames are very hard to get to fit, I think, because there's so much empty space. They just don't want to lock in the way everything else does, but we got it. And now it's correct. Oh, one thing I didn't actually show you guys is you can actually use the vehicle as a craft bench. So it's pretty nice that you can make make stuff just like it's a crafting bench remotely when you're kind of wandering around out in the wild, which is pretty cool. And I didn't show that last time, so it's good to show it. So I think this might look good if we move the conveyor belts up one level to the next wall height and have 6 on either side, 3 on either side, 3 on either side, 6 total, running down the sides. I think that might look really cool. Unfortunately, because we're going to just be moving ore on these belts, even moving at like 120 is pretty good, because most of the mines aren't going to produce more than 120, even on a pure node. And even the Mark II mines only produce 240, and the next level belt is 270, so you only need 1 belt per mine, and once you get to like the Mark IV belts, I don't know if there's even a Mark III mine, but when you get to the Mark IV belts and you're moving like 450 at a time, you can move the stuff from 2 different mines, even 2 different Mark II mines on a pure node at once, and there aren't that many pure nodes. So if you're looking at Mark II mines on an impure node or something, you can move like 12 of those on a Mark IV belt, so we won't need that many belts, I think. You can see that this has respawned over here, and the reason is that the Caterium stopped at one point. It's going to stop again soon. Oh no, I'm sorry, the limestone. I guess this is the limestone stopped at one point. The Caterium's probably respawned too. Everything stopped when I overused the power, overdrew the power. We shouldn't have a problem with power draw now because I've just taken down a bunch of constructors. So that was like 15 or 20 megawatts of stuff, so we shouldn't have any problems with power. So now we're back at the base. And we're going to put the hub up. So I will bring you guys back when we are upstairs, and I will show you the construction of the hub. Okay guys, we're back, and so I guess we're going to end this episode here. We're going to replace the hub. And it will come in as fully completed. It doesn't make you rebuild it. It does this annoying thing where you get exclamation points on all this stuff again as if you hadn't seen it before. And so you can just kind of, click on it and the exclamation points will go away. That should be everything, right? Yeah. So now we're up here, and when the hub needs stuff, we're going to be building a lot of this stuff up here, and we'll just bring it and drag it over here. Although what the hub needs next is steel. So now we're going to have to actually find the extra coal and start making steel. We need to use metal for that. There's metal over there. We can also bring the metal in from the base to be used with the coal as well. So, I don't know, things are going pretty well. By the time you come back, hopefully some of these floors will be more closed in, at least for the floor part. I don't know about the walls, because that just takes a long time to do and isn't necessary. But I'm going to continue, little by little, building out these floors and all the different levels until we have all the floors we need, at least up to this height. And then we're going to need to create another level for things like the manufacturing plants. I want to also show you the new production building, the foundry. The foundry will take in both coal and iron. So the smelter can only take 1 item, but the foundry can take 2. And so I can't build it yet, but you can see here, right, it's got 2 inputs and 1 output. And that's how you make steel. And then, did we get any other new things? I don't think so. That's it. We just got the foundry. Oh, and now we have these hypertube wall supports. I've had those for a while. I just haven't noticed them because I haven't needed hypertubes. So hypertubes are going to come too. I'm really excited about the hypertubes. They're pretty cool. You can do some pretty insane stuff. I saw one guy actually build a giant hypertube that like literally launched him so far from one end of the planet to the other. He was out in the dunes or the desert there. He launched himself all the way over that way and like went off the world and died. It was really funny. So I'm going to keep building here, and I'll bring you guys back for another episode in the near future when we've got more things done. I've got to work on the smelting floor. I've got to bring the copper back here. That's also a high priority. I've got to get the copper back here because I keep running out of wire and having to run all the way back to the old base. This is officially our base now, guys, because the hub is here. So the old place is no longer our base. this is officially our base. As you can see, we can build more land bridges, by the way. We can go straight out there if we want. And so that's the nice thing about having this out all these different heights. We can make bridges to other things. So there's copper over there, for instance, which we can bring over to start making our copper ore as well, our copper mines. So I'll see you next time. Until then, I am Scrapperlock, and this is Satisfactory Early Access.